Hi, HEB. My name is Heather Isaacs, and I'm one of the spiritual care counselors here. I hope this finds you and your loved ones safe and well in this difficult time. A story came to my mind this week that I've been reflecting on, and I thought I would share it with you. It comes from my freshman year of high school. Right before I started, it was the fall of 1992, and I was just about to start my first year in the high school in my hometown in the San Joaquin Valley. And I was in a class of 1,100 freshmen in a school of over 3,000 students. It was overwhelming, to be honest. And at orientation, one of the teachers who was introducing us to the campus said, "Look to the person next to you. One of you will likely not make it to graduation." Now, it was true that my high school had a 50% dropout rate, and by the time I made it to my senior year, our graduating class would be almost exactly half of the total number that had started. I believe the teacher was, in their own way, trying to motivate us to rise to the challenge of the moment, but whatever their intention, the fact was that 50% of the kids in my class did not make it to our senior graduation. The teacher could name the problem, but the recognition of the challenge before us was not enough to change the outcome. I contrast this story with another seemingly very different one that I recently learned about from the writer Rebecca Solnit in her book, A Paradise Built in Hell, The Extraordinary Communities That Arise in Disaster. In it, Solnit recalls the words of Dorothy Day, who at the age of only 8 years old was witness to the terrible 1908 earthquake and its devastating aftermath. Dorothy Day wrote in her memoir, "What I remember most plainly about the earthquake was the human warmth and kindliness of everyone afterward." And she goes on to describe the scene of seeing refugees from San Francisco as it was burning coming to Oakland, and her mother and the neighbors just cooking constantly and bringing them clothes and surrounding them with care and support, and just the selflessness of that moment. And she writes, "While the crisis lasted, people loved each other." I think back to my freshman orientation, and I wonder what might have happened if this teacher had known what Dorothy Day knew, that in the face of enormous obstacles and challenges and losses, the way we get through is by lifting each other up, caring for the person next to us, seeing them, seeing the needs of the community as part of my responsibility, as part of your responsibility of being in community. It's not clear to me whether anything would have ultimately changed if my freshman class had received a more hopeful message at the start of our high school journey. For that group of kids, we will never find out. But I like to imagine another possibility, the one that begins with being told on that first day, look to the person next to you, learn their name, get to know each other, because there are obstacles ahead that will be difficult to pass through. And some of you have more obstacles standing in your way than others. But remember this, you are part of a community that is committed to helping you get through. For me, this is how I also feel about hospice. The very meaning of hospice is rooted in the concept of hospitality, in being a place to rest for those on a hard journey. Hospice as a movement was structurally created so that no one should needlessly face the challenges of terminal illness and death without the support of community and a team of people committed to caring for their whole person, to saying to a person facing the end of their life, whatever the obstacles are before you in your journey, we will walk with you. Yet none of us, no matter what part of hospice we are involved with, none of us alone is expected to take on that responsibility. We do it as a team together. Right now, with fires raging all around the Bay Area, the scenes that Dorothy Day described feel as vivid and present now as they were then, including the outpouring of love and help that has already begun. But this is a harrowing time, and the communities in which some of us and our colleagues or loved ones live in are being devastated and will be changed forever by this disaster. Already, this time of year has become a cyclical season of heartbreak for so many Californians. But this year, these fires are also happening in the middle of an unprecedented pandemic, during a time of deep social and political pain and unrest. Any one of these crises would be in and of themselves more than any one of us can manage on our own. And that is not to overlook the personal challenges and losses that each of us might be carrying, in addition to everything else that's happening in our world. The fact that they are happening all together is simply too much. But like my high school teacher who was only able to name the problem, we can all see the challenges before us and how overwhelming they are. But I know for me, at least, that's not giving me the tools or the hope to create new possibilities for the future. We may not feel that we have solutions right now, but I want to uplift that we do have wisdom for this time. The wisdom of hospice is not only for death, but for life, how we face the obstacles of life. Because there are too many in this life. It is too much for any of us to bear alone. And any solutions we do find will require that we not only see the problem, but that we look to the person next to us and see them, to see ourselves in community together as needing each other, even if we do not know or like each other. Like Dorothy Day wrote of her beloved community in its time of disaster, while the crisis lasted, people loved each other. Wherever you are, whether you work in the field, the office, the thrift shops, may you feel that every day you come to work, that you have a tangible way of offering love to the people of our community in their time of crisis, but in this moment also overlaps with our shared time of crisis. Right now, it might feel like the crisis will never end. And we know that even when this particular time of crisis is over, that life itself will never be without it to some degree. The way we care for each other now, the way that we care for our loved ones, the way we let them care for us, the way that we let ourselves lean on each other and on others, the way that we look to the person next to us, whether we like or know them, if we see them as part of the larger community, this is how we will all find our way through. For while the crisis lasts, we can love each other. We can hold faith in the power of love to mobilize the deep gifts of community. And in that, we can find hope together. Take good care.